Well, the last few days I've been watching the television, as most people do, and I've been watching Fox News because that's the one that's usually the best. All the rest of them are manned by a bunch of snowflakes or socialists masquerading as journalists. Anyway, I was watching the hearing. There was an examination that was done to FBI Director Comey. And the questions that were coming from the Democrat side of the forum, they're split up. You say I'm the chairman, and to my left, that's appropriate, will be the Democrat side, and to my right will be the Republican side. And almost to the man, there may be a few exceptions. I can't remember who would be the exception, but I'm sure there's a couple. To the man, those Democrats were asking questions that were leading the focus to Donald Trump's tax returns, and that he's not revealing them, he's not publishing them, because in his tax returns, the implication is there is evidence that he was in collusion with the Russians to eliminate Hillary Clinton and make him president. That's the bottom line of the whole thing. Now, his financial statement that he was required to release before entering the race last year to run for president should have been sufficient. They should have laid out everything necessary if they had any kind of collusion going on, any kind of linking up with the Russians for them to get evidence of that. There isn't any. The financial statement, as I understand, or financial disclosure, is more apt to get these type of things than a tax return. The tax return, the corporate tax return, is not as I understand it, is not as thorough and is not as definitive on these matters as the tax return. As the financial statement. Anyway, you got the idea. The tax returns make no difference. He is not required. No candidate or prospective candidate or candidate running or anything else, so Senate, House, or the presidency or anything else is required to release their tax returns, but they have to release a financial statement. Now nobody's required to release their tax returns. The financial statement is all that is required. So the idea is to catch him in a financial deal that would indicate collusion with the Russians prior to the election and through the election process that was aimed at knocking Hillary Clinton out. And that would give that Maxine Waters woman and Pelosi and Schumer and all these anarchists, they're masquerading as Democrats, but they're not. They're anarchists. They give them the grounds for which to enact and start impeachment process against Donald Trump. That's their goal. Maxine Waters said that was her goal. That's the reason why that woman lives every day, according to what she said out of her mouth. Impeach 45. That's her chant. And Pelosi is nuts, and so is Schumer. And that what's that other woman? Elizabeth Warren. That group are nothing but nutcases. They can, and like Sean Hannity has said, and Tucker Carlson and other people and other commentators that are not even with Fox News, they've said that the Democrats can't accept the fact that they lost the election because they had a candidate that was not palatable and not able to win the election. She wasn't a good candidate. She was a flawed candidate. It wasn't just emails and all this other stuff. It was her presentation. It was her herself. Behind the scenes, I understand she was one, I'm not going to say it, one bad woman. She would throw fits. If she didn't get her way, people better get out of her way. Even Bill Clinton. Now, before I end this, you got the idea of what I'm saying. I'm saying that the whole idea of all these House and Senate and committee meetings and all that type of stuff regarding the FBI director and NSA and all that other stuff is aimed at doing one thing: hopefully getting enough evidence, as sketchy as it may be, as remote as it may be on the surface, to start impeachment proceedings against Donald Trump. I've lost my thought there that I led into before I was ending this. Anyway, that's the end of it. This isn't the end of it. This is just the beginning. He's not even 6-7 months into his presidency, and they're trying to make sure it's the shortest presidency that they can make it legally. There are other non-legal methods and means of which they're not below using. They've done it before. Hillary Clinton and that bunch have done it before. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Since, I don't know how, about 2 or 3 weeks or maybe more, maybe a month, something like that, nobody's seen Bill Clinton. He hasn't been in public. He hasn't been on the camera. He hasn't been around her. She hasn't had either Bill or Chelsea with her. Now, there might not be anything to that, but it might mean something. Regardless of that, she is, I believe, part of the group of people that's behind this push. They call it the shadow government, behind the scenes, pushing the other Democrats that are in office right now toward the end, that they're going to try to get Donald Trump on something. It doesn't make any difference what it is. They're going to try to get him on something to start impeachment proceedings against him. Now, that's my take on this thing right now. Hopefully it won't happen. I mean, I give my opinion. I don't think there is anything to this Russian Trump conspiracy thing. I don't believe it at all. People have pointed out that if there is anybody that Putin would have wanted to go after, it would have been Hillary Clinton, but not use Donald Trump. He's got other means to do that. Well, anyway, that's it. I just wanted to get that out and up. It's just a real short bit that I've got, and it's on the fly. It's on the. It's not rehearsed or anything else. I don't have cue cards. I don't have a teleprompter or anything like that. I just do this off my top of my head and out of my heart. And I'll say this in closing: I am a saved, born of God Christian man. And all this stuff that goes on this plane, in the worldly sense, in the long run, doesn't mean anything. What means stuff is what's for eternity. Now, the only reason why I'm interested in this stuff is because I'm a member bodily in this nation as a citizen of this country. So while I'm here, I think it's incumbent upon me to be aware of what's going on, and as far as I can go biblically and participate in this thing, I will. If not, then I don't care, because eventually it's not 10,000 million years from now, this stuff won't make any difference. Obamacare versus American Health Care Act, all this stuff, it doesn't make any difference. Hillary's emails won't make any difference. As far as the end result of stuff. Now, it might determine whether she gets saved or she stays lost or whatever, but it doesn't determine, in the long scheme of things, in the grand scheme of things, anything for eternity. Nothing. Well, that's it. This is Bill Newton, Lions Paul Productions. I'm glad you tuned in. And if you got any comments, like I said, there's going to be an email address that you can send me comments. Nothing dirty, nothing obscene, nothing blasphemous. Give me a good question, or give me a good insight, or maybe something you want to have me have a comment. You may like my comments. You may think I'm a bozo and don't want to hear any more from me. That's fine. Just give me a comment. Lions Paul Productions.